a panel discussion among scientists introduces The Last of Us. Cordyceps is a dangerous fungus that experts discuss as a fungus that seeks not to kill, but to control the host. The scientist responds, no, stating that the circumstances are incorrect. But it might happen if the planet warmed up, and there would be no possibility for mankind. Let's go back to 2003. The president is Dubia. On the radio, Dido. Furthermore, global warming is affecting the Earth. Similar to the game, Sarah Miller's eyes provide us our first authentic look at the outside world. Will humans ever be overrun by cordyceps the way they overwhelm insects, wonders the apprehensive TV host. A young adolescent girl named Sarah is determined to make her dad's birthday memorable. When she hears about explosions in Indonesia on the news, she feeds him pancakes packed with eggshells and tutors him in geography. Also, breakfast offers a glimpse inside Sarah's household. Joel, a single father fighting to maintain his construction company, and her uncle Tommy, who still has to mature, are raising her. The Millers have places to be, but while Mr. Adler feeds his feeble wife biscuits, they pause to chat with their old neighbors. Sarah is a bright, kind child who also makes a commitment to see her elderly neighbors after school. Joel's veteran status from the Gulf War is revealed via a bumper sticker as he exits the driveway. After school, Sarah takes the bus downtown. The police cars and fire engines that are speeding by are bothering our toddler, but he is on a mission. She goes into a repair shop to have Joel's watch fixed. The ticking clocks on the walls have a very clear meaning. Time is running out. Sarah races home as more alarms are played on the radio when the business closes early. Sitting by Mrs. Adler in a wheelchair, she completes her homework as their house help bakes. However, Sarah declines the bun offer as her father assured her he would get birthday cake. While she watches Curtis and Viper 2, our first Easter egg, on a borrowed DVD, Mrs. Adler twitches behind her.
Law enforcement and emergency service.
Mercy! Mrs. Adler.
Sarah drives home, oblivious, while she watches military planes fly overhead. Joel forgets the cake and arrives home late due to a mishap at work. However, he is thrilled with the watch, which Sarah claims she bought for by peddling strong narcotics. She nods out as the movie is playing. Joel puts Sarah to bed and answers a call from Tommy, who has to be bailed out of jail once more. She awakens in the middle of the night to an explosion. Sarah looks for her father in terror. The neighbor's dog is barking at her door when the home is unoccupied. Sarah tries to take Mercy home despite the TV's warnings to stay inside, but the dog bolts, and the Adler's door is already open. In the kitchen, Sarah trips over a bloody patch and sees Mr. Adler holding a nasty cut to his neck. Home assistance nurse, Mrs. Adler, feasts behind the kitchen counter. Sarah bolts, and Mrs. Adler comes at him at a lethal pace. Joel uses a tire iron to murder Mrs. Adler after arriving just in time. He loads Tommy and a shell-shocked Sarah onto the vehicle. The afflicted already crowd the streets. Tommy proposes that they pause for other survivors who are mothers. Joel, however, cuts him off right away, stating that he would stop at nothing to keep Sarah safe. The Millers encounter a traffic gridlock as widespread fear spreads. The vehicle collides with burning wreckage from a tumbling plane, causing an accident. Their hopes of fleeing to Mexico don't last long. Similar to Sarah, I apologize. Joel rescues her from the wreckage, but as he does so, a soldier brandishes a rifle and threatens to kill them both. Joel takes off, but not before shooting Sarah. Joel is saved by Tommy when he gets there. But in her father's arms, Sarah passes away. Joel is also a broken person.
Are you okay?
My ankle.
Head of the river. Run. You're sick. That's sick. I got you. Hey, no one told. You're not sick. Please stop. okay. Baby. No, I know. Come on, baby.
Once more jumping forward to the present, we see a small toddler approaching the Boston ruins. Tied to a wheelchair, Fedra troops man the checkpoint and transport him inside the quarantine zone. Posters alert people to the symptoms of illness, which include mood swings, muscular spasms, slurred speech, and coughing. The youngster is tested by the troops despite his lack of symptoms. The device also lights red. As her colleague administers a fatal shot to the youngster, a soldier entertains him with a narrative of food and toys. Truckloads of bodies are sent to be burnt by the army. Joel abandons the youngster on a fire pit and heads to get his new work assignment and ration coupons. Joel's work, however, was not approved by Fedra. Joel slips out of a public hanging to sell drugs to a guard, who informs Joel that Fedra is putting an end to the Fireflies and advises him to stay inside for the next several days.
What are you doing with the vehicle?
What's that?
And they don't have any batteries. I know.
Two of our guys got shot this morning. Sure.
Don't do that.
What?
I mean, put yourself in my shoes.
I'd like to go home and drink. They're shooting! They're shooting at us!
My son, the smart one. All this open country?
It's a miracle you're alive.
I need you to take a breath. And we just shake it off. So you march out of here all clean up.
Well, where is he?
Don't know. So let's go hunt that motherfucker. The team have already lost 4 people. And
Joel's business partner Tess is imprisoned by rival thief Robert and forced into a difficult situation until she is set free by a Firefly bomb. But when Fedra soldiers mistake Tess for a terrorist, she finds herself in even more dangerous situations. At last, we get to see Ellie, a teenage girl hidden in a Firefly lair, her feet bound to the radiator while dressed in Converse. Every day, Fireflies check her for symptoms of illness, but they find none. Ellie has a bad temper and a lot of attitude. Joel, meantime, exchanges illegal goods for details regarding Tommy, who has vanished. There are worse things than infected out there, they tell him. Joel, however, returns home to make plans for his brother and mixes alcohol with prescription drugs till he faints. Trampled and battered, Tess slides into bed next to him. However, she is resolved to find the battery Robert took in the morning since Joel needs it for a car to save Tommy. The Firefly commander Marlene makes her way back to the hiding place. Marlene is just as tough as Fedra, but she has one important distinction: she wishes to reconstruct society and bring democracy back. She holds up Ellie as a symbol of hope for her followers. When Marlene visits her prisoner, she reveals that she has been keeping an eye on Ellie since she was a baby and that she stopped the Fireflies from shooting her. Ellie calls her a terrorist, but he backs off when Marlene brings up Riley. "You have a greater purpose than any of us could have imagined," she tells Ellie. Joel and Tess go on a fervent quest for vengeance, but Robert has already been shot by Fireflies and is dead. Marlene was hurt during the altercation. She gets the batteries and a ton of treasure in return for persuading Joel and Tess to take Ellie to a Firefly rendezvous place. Ellie is brought back to Joel and Tess' flat, where she quickly deciphers their radio code: 60s songs for nothing, 70s songs for something to trade, and 80s songs for trouble. Joel becomes annoyed with her since she has a sharp tongue and thinks quickly. Joel keeps wearing his watch, although Ellie notes that it is broken. The 3 of them flee Boston QZ at night. Ellie is in wonder since she has never been beyond the Fedra walls. However, Fedra soldiers are spotted going beyond of boundaries as they monitor the region. When a soldier stabs him in the leg to test them all, Ellie becomes terrified. Joel gets a flashback as he lifts his gun in retaliation. Joel is set off, and while a stunned Ellie witnesses, he beats the soldier to death. Tess finds out that her test came positive. Ellie claims that her bite has been there for 3 weeks, longer than anyone has ever been alive without turning. The sick shriek in the distance. The 1980s hit song, Take On Me, crackles on Joel's radio as they run from approaching soldiers.